Indrek, welcome to the podcast. I'm very glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
No, great. I'm looking forward to hear your running journey that you're going to share with our listeners. So to start with, maybe you can start with your background, Indrek.
I'm from Estonia. I've been yeah, basically in my profession. I'm a chemical engineer, PhD in chemistry. So I worked most of my life as a development manager and developing different chemical industry projects. And I've been doing sports almost all my life. So started with volleyball or playing volleyball, and then I got into long distance sports like cross country skiing and orienteering and multi sports events. So but running is mostly has been my kind of fitness training my life, but I got into this long distance running maybe 25. I did my first marathon 25 years ago.
Oh, wow.
But then
That's great. So professionally, if you're a chemical engineer and then you're continuing that profession, plus you are involved in a lot of other sports, among them running is one. Um, 25 years ago, you ran your first marathon. So you're continuing to run for a long time. Like, how was it getting into long distance running? Because since you said you mentioned you played a couple of other sports as well.
Yes, actually I did. Yeah, I played volleyball, and I also started. I don't know, 20 or more than 25 years ago. I started inline skating. So this was my main sport some 30 years ago. So got very good at it. I did a lot of, and I was studying in the US for 5 years. So then I got into this inline skating.
Great.
And I trained for long distance events like 100K event in New York and some 69-mile event in Georgia. So I had a very good kind of training behind me. And then I saw that there was one marathon, or the Ocean State Marathon was in, I don't know, 1 month or so. So I thought that I have a quite good fitness, do some more running, and tried my first marathon 25 years ago. So.
Oh, wow. So you just get to know about the marathon a month before and you decided to go for it.
Yes, but I did the running for a fitness a couple of times a week anyway. But I was never training for running marathon, only for this last months before the event. So.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I know I was chatting with someone on this podcast, and that person was like, "Hey, my friend is running half marathon tomorrow morning and over weekend." I was like, "Okay, I'll go for a run." She was in 20s, so just went to a half marathon the next day morning. And it's not like that for you. You had a month to prep, and you have the physical training that goes along with it. So that's pretty awesome. So you did the inline skating and the marathon Berlin this year.
Yes, that's correct. So I have actually done. This was my 10th Berlin running marathon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And all these times I have done Saturday evening. I have done this inline skating before. So because inline skating has been my main sport, and triathlon as well. But yeah, this a little bit this I have not. Basically, for me, this running is not. I did not start the run as a fresh conditions, so it's a little bit more difficult to run after competition last days or day before. So.
Just curious, since I know I'm primarily ran marathons or running, how is it different between inline skating and running? Is it from a training point of view? Is it way more different than training for a marathon running?
Yeah, this inline skating, this is yeah, you still have to train a little bit different muscles, and also the event is much shorter. So I completed my competition 1 hour 20 minutes something. So it's much shorter. So and it's much more intensive. And it's also because most of these inline skaters are skating in a group, so you can do a lot of drafting, which is quite helps quite a lot. So it's do not have to work 100% yourself. So the one who is leading, doing most of the work. So, but yeah, it's a little bit, definitely it's much easier to do this inline skating event compared to running a marathon. So it's but
Oh, that's
training, yeah, training is you have to skate as well. So you cannot. It's a very technical sport as well. So you need to know the techniques, and the technique, and it
mhm.
helps you quite a lot in your results.
Oh, great. So did you run in a or did you do the inline skating in a group this time?
Most of the time. So I think I was until 30 kilometers. I was all the time in the one group, but then I passed the group from behind Kaitstast, and I was not able to increase my speed. So then I had to wait for another group for some 8 kilometers.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's pretty interesting to see that, you pick up the group momentum to keep you forward and, catches
Yeah.
on you, um, to keep you track or the goals you're chasing for. That's pretty interesting. So I learned something new because I saw a lot of inline skaters on Saturday evening. It was fun to watch, and you're right. They are coming in groups, like they're all, ending the finish line on the gate, like as a group. So now it makes sense why they're in a group to look talking to you. That's awesome. And then, how do you see that it's different than training for marathon? Is it more physically intensive?
I think you have to do for this one. You'd have to do more uh, or the volumetrics or different jumping exercises
I see.
to train your muscles. So it's not only that you skate, but you at winter time. I'm living in Estonia, so it's quite north. So we have a long winter. So during winter time, either skate on ice or then do this dry land exercises to be to train correct muscles for this. So there is much more strength training involved in inline skating
I see.
compared to running. So, but it I think it also helps a little bit in some of the muscles are still the same.
I see. That makes sense. And what about the triathlon part? Are you still continuing with triathlons?
Uh, yes, yeah, I have started 2008. When I
Okay.
was until last year, every year I did a couple of triathlons. So
Oh,
at some
great.
point I did some Ironman triathlons as well. But now, last year or this year was first year for a long time, and I did not do any triathlons.
I see. I
I
see.
had other tasks to do.
Yeah, yeah. Because I hear that, CrossFit with other like swimming or biking really complements your running. If you are to go for a long time, it looks like you're running for 25 years because it's not only running probably helps you, it's everything else that you do, you can bring into the running. That's the longevity of running, I would guess, right?
Yes, part of it. Yeah, I've never done only running. Actually, when I second time started to train for these marathons. So after my first marathon, this was quite when I did my 1998. I did my first marathon. So this experience was quite amazing. So I never. This was so tough. This first marathon. So I basically said I will never do it again. So and I did next one 10 years later. So, but still, the first marathon, I have never run faster than during my first marathon. So,
I see.
3 hours, 7 minutes. And I was walking during this last 5 kilometers quite a number of times. But I have never been faster than that after that.
That's
Done
pretty.
a couple of times close, but never been faster.
That's pretty fast to my understanding. 3 hours, 7 minutes. If you have to walk also the last 5 kilometers couple of times. That's awesome. So you did the 10th Berlin Marathon. So you are probably in the Jubilee Club or going to be in the Jubilee Club, right? Call it.
Yeah, next year I will be in the Jubilee Club.
And do you get a automatic entry into the next years as well?
Yeah, that's the advantage of being a club member. So you do not have to enter into this draw again.
That's pretty cool. And that would be the 50th Berlin Marathon. So I'm sure they'll do something special next year for that.
Yes.
That would be that would be exciting. But overall, how was your experience this year, Indrek, running this year's Berlin Marathon?
I have, because I have done this inline skating already 17 times. So I've been in Berlin since 2001. So there is not much new to me in Berlin. So all this route is very familiar to me. So, but this year, happily, weather was good. Sometimes, especially during the inline skating event, there is rain. Roads are extremely slippery in Berlin, so it's very tough. But yeah, weather was nice, and there was a lot of crowd as always.
Yeah.
And we also, as it quite often happens, that we are running in the same event or the same race, and the world record is broken. So
That is
I
true.
have been probably more than 5 times in the race where they have broken a world record in Berlin. So
that is true. That's
amazing.
Berlin special too. I mean, this year also we had the women's world record too. That's pretty cool. Now, going back, along the different sports, you picked up long distance running, and I know there was a gap of 10 years between your first and the second marathon, but you're continuing 10 plus Berlin Marathon onwards. What keeps you continue to run? Like, like what I'm saying, how did running impacted you that you still continuing to run?
I think it has already become part of my life, so I cannot live without it. So,
I see.
but yeah, I think after 2000, I think I run the second World Marathon Major in 2014 in Chicago. Then I realized that there was this about World Marathon Majors kind of. People are looking at these different stars, and then I started to also collect my stars. So I actually reached this goal this year. It's finishing my Tokyo Marathon in March. So this was a quite long journey for me because might be it's quite difficult from Estonia to get entries to all these world marathon events because we do not have these travel agencies which get some spot or starting places. So you have to always enter these drawings and then wait whether you get in or not. And so I have tried a long time to, as you said, my goals, I started to wanted to. I realized that it's possible to collect this World Major Marathon in 2014 by the time I finally reached the goal in 2023. So it took almost 10 years for me to reach this. So some
Wow.
people do it in 1 year.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Very few people probably do it. It's a lot of planning, a lot of travel, and plus you have to qualify to, to do it in a year. But congratulations, that's pretty awesome, 10 years. I'm just curious. So you saying there is no tour operators from Estonia that can get you to the races?
Estonia is very small, so there are only 1.3 million people living here
Uh-huh.
in Estonia. So there is really you have to find yourself all the possibilities. Or actually, a couple of times I have used travel agencies from neighboring countries like Sweden, Finland. So I think I
I see.
got to this Chicago Marathon through Swedish travel agency and to London through Finnish travel agencies. So use
That's
some possibilities from other
okay.
countries.
Okay. That's great. Um, Glad that running has become part of your life, and that's why you're continuing. And then along the way, you picked up world majors, even chased it. What's next for you?
Good question. uh, yeah, I have not decided yet, so I'm looking into some new challenges. Actually, this 10th Berlin Marathon was also one of my goals to get into this Jubilee club to every year to get starting spot in Berlin.
Uh-huh.
It's quite achievement as well. So now the only thing that is certain that I will start the next year at Berlin Marathon again. But other than that, I have not decided. So maybe I was thinking that maybe I should run a marathon in every European country, but this is a long goal
Yeah,
for me.
yeah. That would be interesting. There is continents goals. I think I know people do, like I want to run in each continent. Countries can be one. Well, whatever that you decide, but at least you know for sure you're running Berlin next year.
Yeah,
But I hope whatever goals you choose next, all the best for that. I'm sure you'll find something that you love to chase and then continue with those. Go from there.
yeah,
One of the things that I'm always curious to learn, like you're running for a long time, Berlin, especially 10 years, like when you're chasing those goals, like there has to be a support system around you that helps you to go out and chase your goals. How does the support system looks for you?
has been. I've done it for a long time, so I think family has just supported me many of the races, especially when I have done this Ironman triathlon. So you need some support system to takes a lot of training, and also you need support during the race week as well.
Hmm.
Uh, but other this um, marathon events, I'm been able to actually do it almost or many times also alone. So I think it's possible to, if you know especially in Berlin, everything is quite easy, and I have done it many years, so uh, everything is familiar to me. So then there I do not need so much support to do it, but every always it's nice to have somebody around you
Right.
support you. Yeah,
That's great. Yeah. If you're familiar with the course and the whole the city itself, it's easy to navigate by yourself. You're absolutely right. Um, since you're running for a very long time, I'm just another area I'm curious, Indrek, is the race organization, the way you are seeing, like you have seen it 25 years ago, now you're seeing it now, like have you seen it evolve, the way the races are organized, the support, the technology, like the way everything come together to make a race a good experience? Have you seen it has evolved over the period of time?
Yeah, definitely. In Berlin, yeah, it is. Yeah, the event has or the route has been almost the same. I think only during this first couple of years when I started there, starting was in a different place, but other than after that, the route has been the same. But yeah, the pre-events have been in different locations over the years, and actually the Berlin Marathon has been quite well organized all these years, and that's why coming back to there
Uh-huh.
almost every year. So it's extremely well organized. A lot of support on this course as well. So a lot of people coming out on Sunday morning,
Right.
watching the event and supporting all runners. A lot of music around this course.
Hmm.
Well, so it's a great event, yes. But yeah, maybe it's not better support I have seen in New York. Everybody's almost everybody's is calling you by name. So,
Oh, because your name
a
is
little bit
printed there,
different.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Do you see areas that can be improved as the races are organized? Since you run 10 times Berlin, and since you're running long time, I've seen races across different countries. Um, do you see there are areas can be improved to make running a more enjoyable, a great experience for the runners themselves?
Actually, one thing that has changed in Berlin is that I think initially all runners started at the same time. So there were starting groups,
I see.
but everybody still started, or all this mass started to move at the same time. So yeah, and the clock started when you crossed the starting line, but basically all these 30,000 people were on this course within 30 minutes or so. But now there are starting or three different groups starting at three different times. This
Mhm.
helps to maybe make it's not so crowded anymore. It's a route at the beginning, so you can start running immediately,
Mhm.
and with your own pace as well. This has definitely changed, and this is a positive change. But yeah, what I see is I am actually when you start from the end of this one of these groups, then I think people starting to catch you at some point, and then everybody is passing you. This is usually at the end of the race. It's not so good experience.
That is true. Yeah, yeah. Especially when runners are approaching the cutoff period, it's like
Yeah,
a can be really stressful for the runners. Am I cut off or am I still in the race? That question uh, comes to your mind. Great, Indrek. Anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners?
yeah. I think you have done a great job connecting with different people and sharing different experiences from running. So I have listened some of your interviews before, so it's a nice job you do.
No,
So,
that's great. Thank you. I get to learn about inline skating today, though I saw it in person, but at least I know someone that he did both, and we talked about it here. So thank you for sharing your running journey and in a couple of your memorable moments here with our listeners. Really appreciate it.